for that record button.
I know. It's
that
like
last
three,
photo, I just
two,
felt like
one.
I've lost my carrot, and then I found my carrot in that last photo.
What?
Of the last episode that we did, when you first record the button and then it takes a screenshot of what it is when it records, and it looks
really?
like I'm being cattle prod.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm a little bit exhausted, but I'm good.
Well, you've been, gallivanting.
Yes.
Have you been having fun?
I have been having fun, yes.
I'm trying to put this in a way that people are going to be like, oh, you're moving around so much. It's like, yeah, because I can't stand it when the light's like shining. But anyway, so you've been having fun?
I have been having fun, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
just probably curious to know, I don't know how in full I am at the moment, just how much to share and then share it. Do you know what I mean? I'm in that crossover between.
Well, I must admit to you, so we had a chat. When was it? Like Friday or something? Was it? I don't know, whatever. We had a chat, and then I guess like when you and I normally chat and like share it with other people, it's with people that we're on retreat with, or
it's in
like
the sacred
students.
space.
We're in a safe container or in a safe space. So just sharing it out like that, I think I had like a meltdown about it because I literally had like a headache for the whole day. I think it was Friday or something. Whatever day it was that we posted it out to the public, I literally got a headache, and had to lay down for hours. And I don't know why, because, I'm quite comfortable with sharing. I don't know. It's like, it did feel more vulnerable because I think, I don't know, because I just talk to you so candidly. So I just talk without thinking, without filtering what I'm saying at all. Huh? No filter.
With no filter.
Yeah. So then to just put that out into the world and to not know who's listening to it or how they might take it or the context or whatever, I felt like I was going to be like a witch, hung out in the thing, whatever they did to the witches and I was going over and over things that I said, and did I mean everything that I said, and what could it be misinterpreted? Like just over analyzing the absolute crap out of it, and gave myself a headache. So I just think, fuck it. You know what? Like, I'm done with that shit. I'm just going to share the way I normally share with you. Let's just have our normal chat. We're recording it, put it out there, whatever. Like, this is just us. So just, I think don't overanalyze how much to share, how much not to share, or whatever. Just as per usual, like whatever comes forward, if it's there to be shared, just share it. And that's it. I mean, we're all human beings. I don't know why we're so scared, or we've got so many stories or beliefs that stop us from like just sharing openly with each other. Like, we're all going through the same experience called life, so it's only our fear of being misinterpreted or misunderstood or not liked or not loved or whatever. Do you reckon?
Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure I don't have that double chin, because I notice when I do these podcasts, I've got a double chin.
You don't have a double chin. It's just because you're laying in that position.
Like a Harold Bishop jail.
You've got a beautiful chiseled jaw, sexy jawline.
Yeah. So, it's been a really beautiful last 2 days. Really beautiful. Yeah. And feeling very content with what was just sort of shared and what was given and what was received. And I didn't feel like I had to offer more or offer any less. It was just my being in that experience, in parts of it where there's sacred energy, and there's my mind starts to question, should I have given more? Should I have given more? But it's like, well, this is where the soul is in this moment, and this is what she and he wants to just bring in and experience. So it doesn't need to have addition, doesn't have minuses. It's just what it is just what it is, and being actually really content with that. And in exchange, there was solace that's walked among us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, when two people come together, whether they're together for 10 years or whether they're together for 10 months, those 10 years, all those 10 months are all made up by the same thing, which is moments, seconds, minutes, hours. So, you don't know right now how many of those moments are going to add up to create the whole picture of your connection with this chick. But so you can only just be in the moment, and in the moment, there's you and there's her, and then there's the third energy, which is the energy between you, and you just enjoy it for what it is, and then in my way of seeing it, like, if you enjoy it and you want to enjoy more time together, both mutually, then you choose that and you spend more time together, and if you don't, then you don't. But anything other than that, like, it doesn't need to be analyzed, or what was there, what wasn't there, what could be there, what should be there, what would be there. It's like, just enjoy it for what it is. Like, just
Well,
two
I
human
felt even
beings coming
comfortable,
together.
like being comfortable with like where you feel comfortable at. Because where you feel uncomfortable is where you associate where you felt more comfortable in the past. So should I have held, should I had more affection, you know what I mean? But in this moment, that's what I just felt like I wanted to receive and what I wanted to give. So it
Yeah.
was authentic connection, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't undercapitalize or overcapitalize. It was just an authentic connection that had like a lot of humble beings in there, you know what I mean? So it was really lovely.
I love that, because it's like, if you're really true to yourself, like, and you also don't have a lot of like barriers and boundaries to your like being true to yourself, and you live from a space of like abandonment, as in like an open heart and willingness to just experience what's there in the moment, and be in the moment, then exactly. It's just, it's not, should have I been more affectionate? It's, I was as affectionate as I felt to be in that moment. And, upon retrospect, you can always say, oh, I should have, or I would have, or I could have. But in the moment, you were just being true to how you felt in the moment. You were reading the vibe, you were feeling the energy, you were feeling what you wanted to, how you wanted to express yourself, how your body wanted to move, the language you wanted to use. I mean, God, like, I just started thinking the other day, I was thinking, I am so many different people, because there's a whole different Rachel that I am with you that I'm not with anybody else. But then I was thinking, you know what? It's not like, that I can't be that person in front of somebody else. It's just that this is the Rachel that our connection calls forward, and then when I'm with someone else, my mom or whatever, that's the Rachel that connection calls forward. And none of them are better or worse, good or bad, right or wrong. It's all just so beautiful. I wouldn't say, oh, I'm more myself or I'm less myself. I'm just reacting and responding to the energy that I'm feeling, and the connection with that particular person, and which part of me, or not even part, which version of me that arises in me when I'm around that person. And I think that's part of, like, oh, I love spending time with Michael, because is it because I love Michael? Yes, I fucking love you. But it's also, I love the me that arises when I'm around you. But it's a completely different me to the me that arises when I'm around somebody else.
Yep.
So I
Makes
really
sense.
want to ask all the juicy questions, because I want to get the goss. But anyway, so, but I won't ask too many questions while we're recording, just in case you don't want to answer them. But there was a nice free-flowing connection, like you felt connected to her.
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was just nice to, like, again, just share the space and be able to be, yeah, like, I lost trying to, I didn't have any urge to impress. And in that space of not impressed, then you have nothing to suppress. So you have this totality of yourself in the moment. And I remember that I went on a Tinder date years ago, and this chick said to me, oh, there is positives to online dating, because the more that you have, the more that you learn to be yourself, and you don't minimize yourself, because you're going through this space with new different people. You kind of get bored of like trying to be something that you may not, or be infatuated with something, because the more that you experience different people in the dating realm, the more that you're able to like see yourself in that moment, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, cool. And then you can kind of say, wow, how's the difference in me from this moment from the last day? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the less attached you are to an outcome, and the more just in the moment that you are, the you lose that feeling to impress. Because if you think about it, and to impress is to impress upon, like, it's sort of like
We're
to
projecting.
pardon.
It's a projection.
Yeah, it's like to want to create like something. It's so premeditated. It's like a preconceived idea of something, and then putting it out and creating that in the space. It actually takes you out of being present. But I think, like, the more dates, when you're single and you're going on dates and you're meeting new people and everything, it's like you become less and less attached to the outcome, I feel, because you become more and more used to just connecting, I guess, in a quick sort of way of like, oh, who is this person? And just being excited to meet somebody new, rather than going in with some sort of preconceived idea about some sort of imaginary outcome that you're looking for. Because, I mean, I've been on a couple of dates, like, since being single or whatever, which is like this year, and none of them have led to anything, like, as far as even sex, casual sex. Like, but they've become friendships, as I've told you. So I've made two really nice new friends, like, from a date that I went on. And yeah, it was like evident to me within the first 2 seconds that I was not going to sleep with this person. I didn't feel anything, but because I was able to just be non-attached to the outcome and just be present to the actual connection, I made two really good friends. Like, I really like these two dudes. And then, obviously, just an honest conversation to say, hey, like, do you want to be friends? Because I don't, we can catch up again. I'm definitely not going to sleep with you. And nothing to do with you. That's just not where our point of attraction is. But I do actually would like to be, like, in a friendship and continue this connection. And it's cool. Like, so, but when there's an attachment to outcome, it's like, oh, okay, I didn't get the outcome that I came in attached to. So therefore I sort of leave with nothing.
Well,
Rather
the
than
the biggest outcome of attachment is beauty.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the beast. And when we have an attachment to the beauty, we can really get like lost in our own beauty because we're looking at the beauty in front and we're going, do I have the same value to that beauty that I see? So it can become an instant self-reflection. But that's the attachment. You know what I mean? So until mankind sees all beauty in every single person, therefore there won't be any equality or equilibrium in the connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what was it? You said something ages ago that was really good. It was something to do with, yeah, like, basically, oh, what was it? Oh, yeah, no, that was right. Remember when you went through that phase where you were basically took away sexual attraction altogether, and you were just meeting people, and but by taking sexual attraction out of it altogether, you were able to just meet somebody for who they are, rather than going into every date that you went on saying, would I fuck her or would I not?
Yeah.
And then taking that out completely, because the whole time sitting there, would I, wouldn't I, wouldn't I, was just taking you completely out of the
Present body.
connection that was, out of your body, and out of the connection that was available with that human, with that person.
Yeah, totally. Would I be like totally free around someone like Jen Hawkins? Well, I don't know. I'd say I'd like to be, but I know that I'm going to get infatuated with beauty. It's just the way that nature works.
I would get infatuated with their beauty as well. But
You know what
I
I mean?
mean, the thing is, from back in my acting days, like, you know, when I was on celebrity sets or whatever you might say, like, you know, it's honestly, once you're there and you really do just feel the person, like, it could be, what's his socks, who are those people off Blue Healers,
Maggie
you know, what,
Doyle, PJ.
yeah.
Mount Thomas 308. Yep, we know it all.
No, but that's their characters, but what were the actors' names?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Anyway, but when you actually do meet celebrities, because I have met a lot of celebrities, and I mean, everybody's different, but for me, it's like, oh, hey, human, you know, like, it's different once you have a chat, and you know, you're just chatting person to person. It's not, it doesn't sort of feel like this infatuated, oh my god, you are so much better than me. It's just, hey, like, you've got skills in this area, I've got skills in that area. You're really aesthetically beautiful to look at. I mean, I was thinking about this earlier, because the thing is, Michael, you are aesthetically amazing to look at. You are so stunning and hot and beautiful in every way, shape, or form. And I was thinking about it earlier, that I've had some very good looking, what society would call good looking partners. But there was actually a moment in my life, which was, I think, around the age of 22 or something, probably just before I met Kane, actually, when I actually made a conscious choice that I wanted to attract somebody that I was really physically attracted to. Because before that, I had this belief that all good looking guys are assholes, because my first boyfriend was so attractive to everybody at the school, and he acted like a bit of an asshole, which God bless him, I'm sure, you know, whatever. Anyway, but basically, I developed this belief that said all good looking guys are assholes, or it was more comfortable for me to be with somebody who I didn't find so physically attractive, because then I didn't have to feel like vulnerable or less than or whatever. So I started to find that I started attracting men just in general that I wasn't really that physically attracted to. Still so much sex appeal, and, you know, there were other aspects, and I guess it made me feel really sexy, because they were so attracted to me. But then there was this point where I thought, you know what, like, I would actually like to be with somebody that I just think is the most, you know, attractive, you know, man ever. And I actually had to change my mindset to call that into my life. But when I saw Kane for the first time, I was just like, oh my God, that's just the hottest guy that I've ever seen in the world. And I felt like that was a match. Like, I was worthy of that. I deserved that. I was comfortable with that. Whereas before it would have been like, oh my God, you know, like, it actually takes a conscious choice to consciously choose to be comfortable with the point of attraction, and to be what you're calling in and what you're attracted to.
Well,
And
I just think a lot to do with it has integrated the masculine and the feminine. So when we go to impress, we're out of like integration, integrity. You know what I mean? Or when we go into infatuation, we're out of balance. You know what I mean? It is when we get older and wiser and more humbled, and we start to appreciate the wrinkles, and we start to overlook, you know, like personality over someone that's hot, because we know that, you know, good looks don't last for ages. You know what I mean? Like the old saying back in the day when we were young, you'd have Pamela Anderson on your lap, and after 6 months, you're looking around at the lunch and see what else is out there. You know what I mean? So it's interesting because, you know, when we go to seek out something that we want to attract, well, it's just seeking out the balance that's already within. You know what I mean? So it's all about, I think, that, you know, integrating the masculine and the feminine. And I do feel that my feminine is integrating and is accepting my beauty the way that it is and the way that it isn't. You know what I mean?
yeah, I
And
think
to be able to, like, you notice it, like, you know, I look at, I mean, I'm obviously on the Gold Coast, and there's lots of beautiful women here, but I look at them now, not in a way of like, oh my God, I just love to fuck them. You know what I mean? It's like, hot, yep, check in. You know what I mean? But there's nothing more, nothing less, because what they've got is what I've got. But how that gets danced and how that gets expressed and how that gets held by another person, well, that's another story. That's what separates us, and that's what creates diversity.
Yeah, I think you're right. The more that we come into our alignment of our own internal masculine and feminine energy, I guess there's not as much of a void within ourselves. So we're not externally looking to fill that void with like instant gratification of, sex or alcohol or cigarettes or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, because I guess in a way that just, becomes another part of that, as far as like, conquering the opposite sex or whatever. It can be like that feeling of like instant gratification, that feeling of like, oh, I've got it, or I'm in power, I'm still in control or whatever. Whereas the more filled up and fulfilled we are within ourselves, then I guess like the less that we're looking to fill that void space in general, It's interesting because you've spoken quite a lot with me over the years around that shift where you went from sort of chasing and feeling like every woman you saw was like, oh God, I want to fuck her, oh, I'd love to fuck her, oh, just this real sort of feeling of like this spilling energy, which I'm sure a lot of men and women have, but from my experience, a lot of men have that. Like it's almost like they're a dog, like, and can't stop their, and there's no need to stop it or suppress it. I mean, society's really good at telling us that, like, it's not okay to feel that way, but it is. But you actually, for your own benefit, were able to, I guess, change that within yourself because you were feeling uncomfortable with that. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, or?
Don't know. I don't know if it's there in my fabric, but I get what you're saying. I feel that there's a lot of information there. There's probably a lot of energy I would like to probably input into that. Do you know what I mean? But I think in the short answer, and we can come back to that question, because that's like a big conversation. I think that a lot of it has to do is like how free you feel inside a relationship. You know what I mean? And we seem to attract more. The common theme in male conversation is that, I get more attraction, I get more looks from women when I'm inside a relationship. You know what I mean? And we talk about, when we're single versus that when we're single, we don't get much attention as much as we do as when we are in a relationship. Now, perhaps there is like this guard that is around us to a degree when we are in a relationship. We can feel in a captive situation, like in that relationship, like what you shared before, like the is it okay to look? Is it okay to like say to myself, God, I'd love to take her to bed? Or is it okay to say, oh, fuck, sexy ass, go to the chick, mate? You know what I mean? Like, where is those, like, there is that kind of allowance that we either have allowance with or allowance without. And obviously that when we have to somehow tuck it in inside a relationship, then that desire can grow really quickly to admire into just want to fuck it. You know what I mean? And if you look at probably a lot of relationships where the partner may cheat on each other and they might be super attractive couple, but they just want to release this like energy that's within them, like the slut archetype of the wild woman or the wild man or the wild, whatever in the male. So I think it's like really feeling how free do you feel in that moment to look at other women inside a relationship, and then when you are outside of a relationship, you've got true totality to look at every kind of woman. And it almost like I've seen that. Like your head can turn left and right with no restrictions. But when you're with duality, then your head's sort of focused on where you're walking, and you might check it out left and right. Your head's not moving as much. So your body doesn't have as much swing and rotation that it has when you are without a woman. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's all about, I think, also about being really comfortable with desire. So, and being desired. Like like, sorry, I'm in the car because this is just my safe place, my safe, happy place. Anyway, so I, you know, I'm really grateful that I feel like I must create a level of safety in people, because I have many men, and I guess there's been women over the time as well, but many men telling me, especially now that I don't have a partner per se, so maybe they just feel more comfortable or whatever, that they either have desired me at some stage or that they do still, like not me, but me, like as in they found me desirable, let's just say that. And I feel really grateful that, like, I've obviously allowed, I mean, some women, I've seen some things on Facebook where it's like, oh, unsolicited attention, or somebody, you know, sent me advanced upon me and it was unsolicited. I don't see it like that. I'm like, I just feel it's really beautiful. It feels to me like it's a real credit to me that I have created a feeling of safety in somebody, such that they are able to say, oh, well, actually, Rachel, I think you've got an amazing, you know, energy, and I have desired you over the time that we've been friends, or you've been my coach or client, whatever. And I don't see it as inappropriate. They're not saying anything that's inappropriate in any way. And I'm able to say, oh, cool. I don't even take it as a compliment. It's not even a compliment. It just is. It's just, okay, cool. Got that. Thank you for sharing. Like,
Well,
thank you for being comfortable to share your desire. I'm comfortable with being desired these days. In the past, that would have flipped me out massive. Like, you know that. I would have been like, oh my God, I don't feel comfortable like being desired like that, and blah, blah. Now I'm like, okay, cool. People desire me. That doesn't mean I need to do anything. I'm not responsible for their desire. I'm not responsible for making them feel okay. I'm not responsible for letting them down gently. I'm not fucking responsible for anything. But I do obviously honor the courage that they took, the vulnerability, the beautiful connection, and I will honor that, and I'll be very gentle with my response, but I'm not responsible for anything. But it's really awesome to be able to own our own desire. And I remember I was seeing someone, I can't even remember who it was now, it was probably, anyway, it's completely irrelevant, but after the time that we had finished, like that we weren't seeing each other anymore, and they had said, okay, I think it's for the best that we discontinue having a sexual relationship. And I said, okay, well, I'm totally not attached to the outcome, but I just need to communicate that I desire to still be having sex with you. And this person was a bit offended. I've remembered who it was now. This person was a bit offended, or not offended, but like, oh, it's like, you know, I'm expressing what I want. I'm not saying that you have to say yes or no, or that there's any pressure, or that there's any obligation or anything, but I can't sit and not express what I want just because I don't think I'm going to get it. Like, I think it's really important to be able to express what we desire independently of whether we're going to get it or not. It's the same as what's going on with this political situation over here. Probably me writing all of these letters is making fuck all of a difference, but it's important for me to know myself as somebody who's willing to use my voice to express what I want, to express what I desire, to share, to be vulnerable in that, and to be, I guess, what's the word? Connected, like more connected to my own experience of life, rather than just sort of sitting passively and just waiting for whatever comes my way.
Well, I think it's interesting. Why do you think that men feel they get more attention when they're with a partner?
Well, I think that that's a character, to be honest. I think that that's, I mean, there's like this naughty little boy character, you know? And when you're in a relationship and you're, you know, even in perceiving, like your perception is like a receivership of a female's attention, it activates that naughty little boy character. Like, oh, I just made eye contact with her. Or, oh, I bet I could have had her if it wasn't for the fact that I'm in this relationship or whatever. Yeah. So that feeling of being desired, that feeling of like the naughtiness, the innuendo, I really think it's an attachment to that character or that archetype, because a lot of time that archetype or that character doesn't have a place to be expressed in society in general, because like, you know, we're pretty freaking domesticated, you know. A man who's like in touch with his true sexual essence and true sexuality is probably going to feel an attraction to a lot of women, like whether he's in a relationship or not. Then his choice to choose to be in a monogamous relationship with this one woman overrides that attraction, and he keeps choosing that. But does that switch off that attraction? No, and nor should it, in my opinion, because it's not healthy. It's healthy to just be truthful to how you're feeling. Like the truth
Well,
is,
a lot of men say that they feel they get attention because a woman sees another woman with that man and is gravitated to that man and is interested. What has she got, and what is so good about him? And I'm drawn to that attention. It's almost like we lust for the darkness. You know what I mean? There's like a lust energy that moves through here, and most majority of men will say that it's funny. That's what we think. That we think that a woman is a very competitive in the jungle. That they can sense that in that. They think that that man's got something that the woman has seen. I can't quite see it, but they're blocking other energies of coming in. And they're like, their dark Pluto comes involved, and their little Amazonian feminine wants to play magic with that and start to seep in and see what's behind the closed door. Do you think that's accurate or not?
I think it's safe. It's like when a man's in a relationship, it's really safe, because women, in general, women are driven by safety. So our primal instinct, our cave woman instinct, is security and safety. So it's really uncomfortable for a woman to be single neurologically, because we are programmed and designed to have a man around us to keep us safe, to keep us secure, to fight off the enemy, to go and get the food, whatever. Like that's our primal instinct. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, so when so I guess, but then in today's society, where most of us have been in so many different relationships over the years, where we've gotten hurt, or you know, it's a vulnerable thing, and there's so much more to relationships these days. It's quite scary. It's like scary to open your heart and to be vulnerable, and to really share yourself. So I guess maybe when a man is in a relationship, it's sort of easy to flirt with him, or to get attention from him, or to be open to fantasize about him, or to feel a connection with him. I'm just saying this now, it's just like, I don't know, but because potentially you're not as much at risk, you're not as vulnerable, because you know nothing can happen there anyway, because he's with someone. So maybe it's a safe space to express like your maybe it's a safe space to sort of like express your desire, because you know that like it can't lead anywhere that you don't want it to lead, or you don't have to overanalyze like how far it's going to go, because it can't go anywhere. So it's like, well, it could, but it probably won't. So it's probably, you probably as a woman might even experience even more sort of abandonment, like, oh, I can really flirt with this person, or oh, I can, you know, get really excited that he's just like staring at my ass or whatever, and I don't have to be frightened that, you know, he might get the wrong impression, or he might try and come on to me later, and I'll have to try and back away from that. Because you know what, like women love being chased. So it's like part of our neurology is not necessarily to catch the prey. A man's neurology is to catch the prey. A woman is so satisfied just from being chased in the first place, without having to be caught, or without having to catch. I'm a Leo, so you know, maybe I'm a bit different with the lion, but you know, most women just want to be chased, and they want to be desired, and they want to be lusted after, and it doesn't really matter if the person's got a partner or not, because you're still getting the same feeling of, like, whether they do or they don't. In fact, it might be safer, as I said, if they don't, if they do have a partner, because then you can get the lust after feelings, but then you don't actually have to then try and go, oh shit, I was just flirting, I didn't actually want to go through with it. Now I've got to try and nurture your emotions out of this. I don't know.
Well, I've always been attracted to like a woman who owns the whole vessel. You know what I mean? And there's probably parts of the vessel that needs like a little bit of a shimmy here and there, but I'm not the one to judge it. But what I want to know is like, she's owning that. There's dominatrix in her vessel. There's dominatrix in the jungle, and she's got like a really strong force of energy around her. I want to know what's behind the hood. You know what I mean? And that hood may be governed by another person or a partnership, but that's what I see. It's like, what have they got that I don't have, or what have they experienced that I don't have in the now? And that seems to be like this subconscious thing that moves through me. And then also too, it's like, well, beauty's beauty and the chick's hot that's hot. But yeah, I just think that's quite interesting that a lot of men say that. A lot of men they get more attention with their partner, and then when they turn single, it's like, well, you know, all of our stuff's out there and open, and now we've got to sort of like go out there and try to rope that woman in somehow through our energy without being noticed of our spill, our trauma, our addiction, our habits. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I reckon it's fear based. I reckon it's like, as soon as that dude is single, he's more self-conscious, he's more over analytical about
Mm.
approaching that woman. I reckon it's honestly the energy. You're just way more free when you're in a relationship. Because I even noticed myself with the podcast last week. I was like, you know, I know myself that I've been in relationships since I was 22. This is like, you know, and I really do feel that in a way I'm more confident when I've got a man behind me. Like, it's like, oh, I've already got my chosen person. They love the shit out of me. They're attracted to me, you know, so I can just be free to express myself however way I want, because there's nobody to impress or whatever, because I already know that this person's like super impressed with me no matter what. So I reckon there's like an element of freedom that we have in our expression when we've already got a partner. But so I reckon that's a lot of what you're just referring to could be, yeah, like almost like there's a different way that they're being, like that there's a different way. But I will admit that, you know, when a man has a partner, it's almost like a reference. It's like, all right, well, like I was thinking about it from our perspective. It's like, I reckon a lot of women would be like, oh, well, Michael must be a really amazing guy and a really good partner and probably really good in bed, because, you know, Rachel was with him for so long, like, and she seems to have, well, I think that I would come across as having a bit of a standard, you know what I mean? And it's not like I'm short of, you know, I'm not sure. It's not like I'm desperate in any way, shape, or form. So for me to just speak so highly of you and think of you as just this most amazing, amazing partner and friend and beautiful guy, you're tapping your hand because you're just, I think you're like, oh,
Oh,
she's
no.
complimenting me.
Maybe, sorry. I was not meant to be seen. Sorry, yeah, go.
Breathe into it. Anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, I reckon that would be a bit of a reference. Like, oh, well, you know, he must have something going on, because, you know, he satisfied another woman for that many years. Do you think that way?
Well, yeah, yes, and no. I kind of got lost a little bit what you're saying, but yeah, I totally get it. I just think that I just think the word lust comes up a lot. Like we lust what we can't have, or we lust for fear that may be dangerous, and then that can just seep out of our bodies at any minute. Because if it's available in the ether, it's available in us, and it's available at any time. And we may have it tucked in, and we may not have it tucked in. And there's like certain fabrics that we move through, and it's like, oh, hang on a second, what was that woman, or what was that male? Checking that out, and it can like create a lot of vulnerability for a lot of people, you know what I mean? So we tuck that in because we're in a duet where it speaks highly that we can't share this energy or this sexual part of our body with other people. So there's this. There is this. I'm going to say. I keep on saying suppressed, like a suppressed lust that's inside of us,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, that's how I just kind of
It,
see in a
it's
sort of like a.
suppressed. It's suppressed from the moment that your mum tells you, you know, don't play with your penis in public, like when you're 2, 3, 4 years old or whatever, or you know, when it's suppressed from day dot. Really, it's just in the fabric of our society, this suppression that So it's quite an unconscious thing, and but like danger is your hair's grown so much; it looks really good.
Cheers, doll. Cheers. I'm trying to find my water a little bit. Sorry,
Um,
continue. Yeah.
There also is the actual thing that danger, an element of danger, is very attractive.
Yeah.
Very,
Now it's all.
like
Now it's
like
all.
honestly, when when you get together, I shouldn't say when I get together with a guy and they I'm off on the back of a motorbike and I'm being bloody, well, you've disappeared. Oh, there you
Yeah.
are. And you're being. I remember. Yeah, I used to talk a lot about moments that I had with Kane where he basically endangered my life, but they were absolutely exhilarating, and it's a turn on. Like there is like danger is attractive. It's like, I guess, linked with, as you said, lust. So
Totally.
yeah, there's an element of that.
Interesting.
They were who was it I was talking to, somebody about, like, the good guy, like how it's like, when the guy's too nice, like sometimes it's difficult for women when the guy's too nice, and you would totally fall into that category of being like the nice guy, the angelic guy, whatever. Sometimes it's hard, and like I've got a lot to say about that topic because there's a lot of reasons why it's difficult to get together with the nice guy. But then I had this thought, it probably goes the opposite way as well. Like, if you are seeing somebody and they're like a woman and they're super nice and they're like attentive and they're, making you playlists or getting your favorite foods or whatever, you'd probably freak out a little bit, like, fuck, where's the back door? Like, how the hell am I going to get out of this? There's
Mate,
no escape.
every male is attracted to the bitch. And it's
Exactly,
all
because
about
it's not as
fuck the
it's
chip off her shoulder. That's what males want to
fuck
do.
the chip off her shoulder. No, but also then you've got a back door. It's like, okay, well, I've got a reason to get out of this. I mean, I remember when I first met you, I was thinking, fuck, how the hell am I going to get out of this? This guy is so perfect. He's so beautiful. He's so nice. What excuse am I going to use when it comes to the point that I need to end this shit? Because I was like such a commitment, like, oh my God, I always need to have like the little back door, because I don't know why, like freedom, fear, whatever it might be.
Hang on a second. I just got to turn this thing on. About to hear every morning. I hear this. Thank you, Tarago. Thank you. It's like a pacemaker. Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting.
So are you going to see this chick again?
Yeah. We'll cross paths for sure. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's
And
really
there's like
nice.
nothing there to anchor itself to. It's almost like the experiences just move through me. I don't have like any. I have like a beautiful recognition. It's just left like a nice song in my ears. You know what I mean? It's
It
just a
left
nice
a
song that
nice
was.
little taste in your mouth.
Yeah. And there's like nothing to. Yeah, it has. It's just left a really nice taste in my mouth.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. What more could you ever ask for? It's the moments that make our life amazing, moment by
Yeah,
moment.
I do.
The thing is, like, one thing that really irks me is, oh God, how do I put this into words without going on and on and on for an hour? Is like this, like, I guess, holding back, how like human beings hold themselves back. Like, okay, well, I don't want, this person to get the wrong impression, or I don't want to feel trapped, or I don't want this to go too far and then I can't get out of it or whatever. So they hold back from the start. It's like, to me, I don't know, like just throw yourself in fully, like to be fully like surrendered to the moment, because we've got the power of communication. Like if you don't want to see somebody anymore, you just have to open your mouth and communicate it. Like, but why would you like have a diluted experience? Why would you have like a half-assed experience? Why wouldn't you? It's like when we first got together and we were like, I think like we were just sort of, well, we were just seeing each other, weren't we? And we went, where did we go? Up into the hills. And I said to you, I want to hold hands. How did it go again? You've brought this story before, and I was like, oh, can we hold hands? And I think you were a bit like, but where are we at? What are we doing? And I was like, it doesn't matter. Don't you just want to experience holding hands? Like it's just so nice to like walk around wherever we were, like a maze.
Well, that's a challenge of education.
Hey?
Yeah. There's a challenge of education in that, you know what I mean? Because people don't know how to be affectionate with friends until we're drunk and go, I love you, mate, you know what I mean? So then when it even comes to the opposite sex or dualities, then it is like hard to find that comfortable space where you can hold hands, hug and do all that stuff without having to say, will you marry me or will you be my partner? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it starts to breed some sort of feeling of attachment or obligation or responsibility. But this is where
Totally.
but this is where
And
that's projecting attachment, because when we are fully self-sufficient human beings and like a self-contained apartment, you could say, like I want to hold your hand because it would feel really nice in the moment. I don't want to hold your hand because then I'm going to add a meaning to it that it means this and that. It's just in the moment. I want to experience holding your hand. I want to have my hand held by you. It's like, I might never see you again after that. I might not ever see you again. It's like when, I just need to say this, it's like when Pa, like I remember when Pa was at the nursing home and I went to go and visit him, and I always like would go the wrong way. Like for some reason, no matter how many times I went to go visit him, I always took this little wrong turn. Anyway, it put me there 10 minutes later than what I would have been there if I hadn't have taken this wrong turn. Anyway, I walked into his room and he was on the floor and his head was like dislodged and it was like wrapped around the leg of the table. It was a freaking, honestly, it was really not good. Anyway, he'd fallen over on the way to the toilet and he'd broken his neck, and he was, what's the word? When like a limb or something's come off, like he was fucked, Anyway, so anyway, poor thing. So anyway, I freaked out. I got the nurses, they were calling the ambulance. I got down on the ground with him and I just lay with him. And he could barely speak because he must have severed something in his, thing. And he said, like, he just looked at me, beautiful, and he looked at me and he goes, sing for me, sweetie. But he whispered it, like, sing for me, sweetie. Sing for me, sweetie. And I was like literally about to have a freaking emotional like meltdown. Like I was just holding on to myself by a thread, And I said to him, I can't, Pa, I can't, because like the thing is, if I had have started singing to him in that moment, I would have just like started blubbering and lost my shit. And I felt like I would fall apart to the point that I didn't know how to put myself back together in that moment. And I wouldn't have known how to be who I felt I needed to be in that moment, which was strong. And I need to be strong for Pa, and I need to be this. But he didn't fucking want that from me. Like he wanted me to sing for him. He was telling me what he wanted from me in the moment. He was asking me for what he wanted from me in the moment. And I was projecting who I felt that I needed to be in the moment. And I know it sounds like I've gone off on a tangent, but I haven't, because after that, I said to myself, because I sang to him after that on his deathbed. Me, Michelle and Jess, we lit candles in his room, you know, and we used to sing to him. He was in a coma, like, or whatever, like unconscious, and we would still be singing to him, you know, and I sang to him. I always sang to him. But in that moment, he asked me to sing to him. He asked for intimacy. He asked for one of the most intimate things that we could have shared. And I was so scared to go to that place within myself because of what it would take emotionally, and to like almost like not be able to like pull myself back together that I wouldn't go there. And ever since then, if I feel like you know, even if I've just met somebody for 1 minute, you know that I fall in love with people immediately. Like, how many times have we been traveling and I've said to you, oh, Michael, I just need to have a little cry. And you're like, what's going on, babe? And I'm like, I'm just really sad because, you know, I really liked those people that we just met on the street and spoke to for 3 minutes. So I'm never going to see them again. I just need to have a cry because I'm really sad. And you'll be like, okay, just let it out, whatever. But I mean, that's me. So, you know, especially when you're dating or when you're seeing somebody or when you're sleeping with somebody, it's going to feel natural. Like, I'm just so fucking over this whole bullshit. Oh, you know, that's just attachment. You need to learn to be alone. Don't get attached. What the fuck? Get attached. You're going to get attached to human beings, whether you're sleeping with them or not. I love human beings. If I'm sleeping with someone, I'm sleeping with someone because I'm really attracted to them and I really like their energy. Otherwise, I'm not sleeping with them. Like, I don't sleep with somebody unless I'm like really into them. Does that mean that I need anything from them? No. But am I happy to have them in my life for the rest of my life? Probably, as a human. You know, does that mean I'm going to keep requiring anything from them specifically? No. What is the problem with getting attached to having somebody in your life as a human? And the problem is when people start to attach it to an idea of how it needs to show up. Like, oh, I'm attached to this person, you know, like X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C as a classification, as a boyfriend, or as this or as that. No, if I'm just attached to them, you know, I want to hold Michael's hand because I want my hand to be held. That just flips. I figured out now that the green thing moves when it's flipping to whose screen we're on. And it always flips to you when you're like yawning or shit like that. It's so funny. I love it. He really does. You need to clarify that you really aren't like put to sleep on my stories. But if I'm rambling on, just let me know. But anyway, but basically, yeah. So point being is, I will never again not share. Well, that's bullshit because I get nervous when I'm around somebody that I like, but I will do whatever I can to really push myself to go there. You know what I mean? To like, if I really want to dance, like do a sexy dance in front of somebody, I will push myself out of the comfort zone to do that. If I want to dress in something sexy, if I want to like give somebody a big cuddle, even if we've only slept together twice and it seems a bit like a relationship thing to do or whatever, fuck it. I just push myself to go beyond the comfort zone to do that, because like, you just don't know what these things mean to people, and most certainly it's going to mean something to me. You know, I remember one of my best friends, he sang Redemption Song once, which is one of my favorite songs, you know. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob us, so die to the merchant ships, you know. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Anyway, it was one of the most amazing moments of my life, and I'm not even kidding. You know how these things just mean the world to me. One of my best friends, one of my favorite songs. It was beautiful. It was just so beautiful. And I've begged him. We've been friends since we were 2 years old. I've begged him every time I see him, pretty much, I beg him to do that for me again. Sing to me again. Sing Redemption Song for me again. I've asked him on my birthday. I've tried to guilt him into it. I've tried to manipulate him into it. I've tried every fucking thing, and he won't do it because he just won't. And that's his choice. And, you know, I have tried to violate his boundaries by like forcing him to do it. But I'm not really good with boundaries. But basically, I just don't understand why he won't do that for me. Why doesn't he want to do that for me? Like, I know that it's a really difficult space for him to go with him himself. But why wouldn't he just want to make me so happy by singing me a song? You know, like, why wouldn't someone want to hold hands and, like, you know, cuddle and, you know, it's flabbergasting to me. So, yeah, anyway, I have gone off on a tangent, but you get me.
Totally right. Yeah. No, it's very interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting.
How long have we been talking? 1 hour and 1 minute. There we go. 101.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we've done well.
You're going to go for a surf?
Yeah, I'm going to check out.
Snapper?
Yes, yeah. Before I can't open my eyes any further.
Well, drink some water. You're dehydrated.
I've been drinking water. I think I've been drinking too much water. Now I'm on coconut water. But anyway, people don't need to hear this. So it's always been fun to check in.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't spoken to you. Well, I don't think we've spoken since the last podcast. What is our relationship, or just podcasting now? That was a joke. I've been a bit off with the fairies over the weekend. I had a really bad headache. Like, anyway, you're right. People don't want to hear this. So, okay.
Yeah.
Good chat, and yeah, love you. I don't actually know how to end it right now, but
I speak from your mum, but I think it's a bit of push to leave.
Yeah, we had to get. Oh, Mum just pops up. We had to get Mum to schedule the Zoom chat. Hi, Mum. You're muted.
So.
All right. Love you.
Love you. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.